Module 5. Connecting and flashing the SensorTile.box PRO board. In this module, we will see how to place the platform in device firmware update mode and how to flash new firmware to the board using the STM32Q programmer application. In Pro mode, you can run your own custom firmware on the SensorTile.box PRO. ST's Open Development Environment, or ODE, helps kickstart this process for you with a variety of tools and source code samples included in expansion and function packs. Function packs that are compatible with the SensorTile.box PRO evaluation kit can be easily found by going to the Tools and Software tab on the kit's webpage. On this webpage, you can find several function packs compatible with the SensorTile, each containing example applications with full source code and documentation for each. For this workshop, we'll be using the high-speed data logging application contained in the FP SNS Datalog2 function pack. You should have already downloaded and extracted this function pack as part of this workshop's prerequisites. If you have not already done this, please pause this video now and follow the instructions in the prerequisite guide, then come back and resume this module. This function pack, as with all our function packs, comes with all source code needed to build the project. Included are component drivers, middleware, board support packages, application code, and pre-built project files for various IDEs. There are also pre-compiled binary files provided for each supported platform. Although the project could be compiled from scratch, for this workshop, we'll just use the pre-compiled binary. To program this binary onto the SensorTile.box PRO, we will first reboot the board into Device Firmware Update, or DFU mode. This is very easy. First, please make sure the SensorTile is powered off by sliding the power switch to the off position towards the USB port. Next, attach the SensorTile.box PRO board to your PC using a USB-C cable. There are two buttons on the side of the SensorTile, labeled 1 and 2. The functionality of these buttons is dependent on the firmware running on the board. However, if button 2 is held down at power on, the STM32 host microcontroller will enter Device Firmware Update Mode, or DFU for short. DFU mode will allow you to update the firmware image via USB. With the board powered off, press and hold button number 2. This is the button nearest to the power switch, while turning the board back on. The board will boot up into DFU mode, which means the normal application firmware is not executing, but instead the host microcontroller is ready to accept a new firmware image. Once the board has booted, you may release button 2. Let's switch over to our Windows PC. Open the STM32Q programmer application. At the top right of the main window, click the blue button and select USB from the drop-down list. In the USB configuration pane, you should see the port box indicate USB 1 and a serial number displayed just below. If you do not see this, please try clicking the refresh button at the right of the port selection box. Now click the green connect button at the top right. Click the eraser icon near the bottom left of the window to erase the device flash memory. When prompted, click OK to confirm that you wish to erase the flash memory. You should now see a message that the mass erase process has been completed. Click OK. Click the download icon near the top left of your screen. Next to the File Path box, click Browse. In the File Explorer window that appears, navigate to C:\ST Box Pro-Workshop. Open the Datalog2 folder. Open Projects. Open the SensorTile.box PRO folder. Open Applications. Open the Datalog2 folder. Open the binary folder. Select the data log 2_release binary file and click Open. Ensure the start address is set to 0x08000000. Click the Verify Programming checkbox. Click the blue Start Programming button. After a few moments, you should get a message that the board was programmed and verified successfully. Click OK to dismiss both messages. Close the Q Programmer application. As a last step, we need to reset the board to exit DFU mode and start the new firmware. To do so, simply switch the board off and then on again using the power switch. After a few seconds, the orange LED will illuminate and the green LED will blink, indicating that the board is idle and ready to use in the next module. In this module, we activated DFU mode and updated the firmware on the board for use in the next module. This concludes Module 5.